Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm testing out a new sponge from the Juno and Company. I think it's Juno and Co. I don't know. I saw Jordan Byers, I think it's Byers. I saw her using it and I was like, ooh, I want to use it too because it looks so cool. Yes, mine's dirty because I've already used it, but this is a microfiber sponge that you can use with powders and with liquids. I got mine offline. It's the Juno.co. Yeah, if you go there, you can see this sponge. It's $4, you guys. It's super duper cheap. And I believe even with shipping, it was like just under $8 total. So not something that's going to break the bank. I'm sure you guys are familiar with like the Sisley sponge and then all the little dupes that were made after. That sponge thing slap your face. I don't know. I just was not into it. Did not want to try it. Had just no interest in it at all. But this one, I don't know. When I watched her video, it applied so well that I was like, I don't know, I just felt like I had to try it. So I'm going to read something from the Juno & Co. website, and then we will get into the demonstration and then my final thoughts. So like I said, $4. It's a microfiber fusion sponge. The first ever microfiber makeup sponge fuses together your favorite makeup tools, the beauty sponge and the makeup brush. This ultra soft dual layer sponge saves you 50 to 70% of your makeup product and everything, and perfectly blends in everything. So this is supposed to save your makeup so you're not wasting any. We'll see. And then like I said, you can use it wet or dry. So let's go ahead and get into the demonstration. Here I have the sponge. It's in its little home still. The only thing I've done with this is it had a little plastic thing over top of it I took off. I've done nothing else. I haven't played with it, haven't cheated at all. I'm very curious to see how this works. So this is what it looks like dry, and there's like little instructions in here. It says to use it wet to apply liquids, so I am gonna go wet this. You can use it wet or dry, but it says dry for loose powders. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wet this. I'm gonna see if it gets any bigger, how it feels, yada yada, but this is what it looks like currently, and I'll be right back. I'm a little shocked because it did actually get bigger and it doesn't feel super wet. I wring it out and then I put it in a damp towel. That would kind of defeat the purpose. I put it in a paper towel and squeezed out the excess. And this is a damp beauty blender, so you can see it's also dirty, but you can see it's even bigger than the beauty blender. I am using Vitalumiere Aqua from Chanel. I've been trying this foundation out. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting the right color and also make sure it doesn't break me out. So far, so good. I think this is a really pretty, really lightweight foundation. And now this does not feel as wet as like a normal sponge would feel, like my L'Oreal sponge, like my beauty blender or anything like that. But it's applying it super well. It looks like velvety. It feels kind of weird, like stamping this. It's on the face. It's not as soft as like a beauty blender whenever it's wet. I will say this is actually kind of clinging to my dry spots right here a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. And the beauty blender, like, yeah, it's getting a little bit worse. The beauty blender doesn't usually do that. I'm gonna go over with a beauty blender on this side and see if it changes. Yeah, that's smoothing it right on out. So I think that maybe this wouldn't be good if you have dry skin. I'm kind of like terrified to even take that on my forehead. And it didn't really, I was trying to put the product on my nose. Like there's stuff on here and it almost like picks it right back up. Like you saw it go down and then it comes right back up and it looks really dry. So if you have dry skin, even with this wet, don't mess with it. Let's see how it does on the forehead. I typically am a lot drier on my forehead and around my mouth than anywhere else on my face. No, don't like it. I don't know if you can tell on camera too, like this side looks more luminous than this side. So dry skin girls, you need to stick with your beauty blender, with your L'Oreal sponge, with your Real Techniques. I would not try this sponge for your foundation if you are dry. Now, on the flip side, you probably will like it if you are oily and you have no dry texture at all. Now that I have smoothed everything out with my beauty blender, let's go in and see for concealer. I am slightly terrified to see what this does underneath my eyes because, yeah, I don't like my under eye to look dry. I'm going to use Tarte Shape Tape, and we're going to go in with that little sponge. So it has like this little flat side here. I'm going to use that for underneath the eye. A little awkward. So it certainly worked, but it does look a little drier than what it typically would, and that's because it's not like releasing any kind of moisture from the water. Like usually the damp sponge will it hydrates your skin a little bit, and that sponge does not do it. But again, flip side, if you feel like your concealer creases because you like a sponge, but the sponge makes it too dewy, you might like this, but this is a little too dry for me, and I don't like this end for the concealer. It was more difficult to get. I need that tip to really be able to get into this inner corner up here. Let's try to set under the eye. I'm going to use the opposite side here, and this is Hourglass Diffused Light. Okay, yeah, that looks, that actually feels very dry. Beauty blender on the opposite side. Again, easier for me to get up. This side underneath my eye feels very tight right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my makeup, and we'll talk about my final thoughts. Final thoughts. I definitely do not think that this saves you any product. If anything, I personally felt like I used more. And I don't know if that's because of the texture of it, if it just soaked up, or if this needs to be even damper than it already is. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't suggest this to anybody that has dry skin. I don't think it's going to work for you. You guys saw what happened with mine. But if you feel like sponges give you too much of a glow or too hydrating for you, then you might actually like this one. I do think that this applies the product well. For me, it's just a dry skin aspect, and I'm combo. So oily in the center, dry, normal everywhere else. But for me, I'm not going to use this again, but yeah, you guys let me know down below if you think that you're going to pick this up or you think this is just another gimmick, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Oh, and if you want to see this eye look, I've already uploaded it.